Welcome, everybody, to yet another episode of the Sunday Rumble Show here on the Oshay Vlogcast channel. Sorry about the wait, and I apologize, but there were many people who were waiting in the chat for the show to start. You guys know I do this show every Sunday where we bring the best and most popular Black YouTubers that we have available to come on for a panel. And we're gonna have some great people today. And leading off for us today is one of the favorites around these parts on these panels. You know, he's not necessarily winning on a lot of the polls, right? I think it's some people hating on the brother, but I call him the Great Black Shark. I think he is, like, personally my favorite person because you never know what the fuck he's gonna do or who's gonna get that work. So I think he's the YouTube boogeyman. Like, everybody is afraid of him. Because he'll make a video about anybody. And this is my brother. You know, he's a good friend. He calls it how he sees it. He don't give a fuck. And that is Super Sly 75 YouTube channel. I want everybody to go in and subscribe to him right now on the link. You're gonna get blown away. I think he's probably one of the more underrated YouTubers. He's a really, really good presenter. And welcome to the show, bro.
Let's go. Let's get into it.
You don't even want to
listen. They know who I am. They know why I'm here. Let's hurt some feelings today. That's what we're here. That's what we're here to hurt feelings. Okay, that's what we're here to do. Just fuck all the dumb shit.
Fuck all the nice shit. All right, look. That's what you get with the shark. But Super Sly. Let's talk about this particular video, man. And I'm trying to keep my composure. You know, there was a brother named I think his name was like Derek Brown, and it was in Florida. It was like last week or two. There was a lady named Felicia Williams, and she had a daughter that she was teaching how to drive, and I guess she was taking like too long to back out. This white guy approaches her. The mother gets in the car. The mother is pregnant, and this guy comes and intervenes. He has a gun, the black guy, and then, you know, him and the white guy are arguing, and the white guy punches him in the stomach. He hits the guy in the face, and the guy gets stitches, and he's a hero, and a lot of people are praising him. I saw videos from Phil from the Advice Show, had a really good video. I think Cynthia G talked about it. But what was your interpretation of the video that you saw?
Dumb. Everybody's dumb. So many things wrong with that whole entire scenario. Okay. From situational awareness to conflict resolution. So when the dude approached the woman, you're pregnant. Why are you even wasting time arguing with this man? Your first priority is what's in your stomach, in your womb. It's funny how when sisters are in trouble, when a nigga's in their face, they know what to do to get the nigga about their face. But when the Asian's in their face, when a white man's in their face, they forget all logic. I don't know what to do. Who should I call? Where can I go for help? That doesn't fly with me. Okay, so then when the dude did step up, the brother, what she should have done was got a fat ass in the car and left. See, when your daddy show up, when shit goes down, when your daddy show up, you go home. Because now he got you out of danger, right? When my dad showed up, when some shit went down, take your ass home. Dad's here now. She should have took her ass home, but what she wanted to do was stand behind the dude and run off at the mouth, right? And then hyping this dude up because he's feeling the energy from her, like, yeah. Keep talking that shit, sis. I got this. Listen, these white folk ain't scared of nobody. Okay? He didn't bust off. That's great. Glad another nigga ain't dead off some dumb shit. Now, what if the dude would have shot him and we had another situation like the dude, the stand your ground dude, with the dude protecting his woman? And would y'all niggas would have supplied the GoFundMe to bury his ass? Do you know if he had a family at home? Was that the smart thing for this dude to do? Because now you're not thinking about what's at home, but you got to go home too. Okay? If this woman would have been like, well, he did the right thing. Even though he's not here to protect us, he protected some woman I never knew. That makes no sense at all. Wrong. Everybody was wrong. Everybody. That could have been handled maybe in a different way. Like I said, when he first arrived, she should have got her ass in the car and took a punk ass home to her man. If she had one, she's clearly pregnant. Somebody touched her, so that's where you should have been. You should have been taking your ass on home instead of sitting there egging the situation on. And when the brother felt that he wasn't going to be much of a threat. If it's still back and forth before the confrontation, the physical part, the dude should have said, you know what, she's out of harm's way. Let me go ahead and retreat and take my punk ass home back to my family. So now you keep engaging with these people. These people are not scared of you. Period, point blank. All that scary black man shit. Listen, quick to bust off on you. And if God forbid he would have got shot, the conversation would have been different. Niggas would have been like, "Oh shit, would have been me. I wouldn't have done it. That should have been in the nigga face." So many things wrong with this. I don't know why this dude is being applauded. I guess the defeated people looking for little small measures of victory. Y'all can have that one. That was dumb all the way around. Wouldn't have been me. I wouldn't have done it. Bitch, you on your own.
Okay. Dog, hold on a second. With that being said, are you any last things you want to say? I'm going to open the panel. I know Cynthia G got timed out, but Cynthia, sorry about that. And then brother E.DeanCole, man, he did such a good job yesterday on the channel. I want to welcome him, man, to one of the shows. I've been trying to link up with the brother for over a month, but you know the brother is awesome. E.Dean, man, tell everybody, man, about your channel. You know what I mean, and what it is that you do, brother.
Thanks so much, Oshay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity. Can you guys hear me clearly? Because I'm playing around with a new lapel mic. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
Okay, awesome. So for everybody that's watching me for the first time, you don't know who I am. My name is E.DeanCole, and I own DeanCole Financial. We're a consulting firm. We specialize in working capital, alternative finance, and business credit development. So I am a CEO in real life. I just don't play one on YouTube. So you can follow me on Instagram at E.DeanCole. And I'm very much so unapologetically Black. I'm very much so woke. I believe in entrepreneurship for everyone, but most importantly for the African-American diaspora. I'm called for the African-American entrepreneur. So that's who I am. That's what I do. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/money making motivation. I talk specifically about how you're able to build Black wealth, how you're able to start and grow a legitimate real business, not some multi-level marketing field, not some complaining and whining about white supremacy and all this other stuff. We are talking about actionable things that you're able to do where you can actually have practicality on how you can overcome white supremacy by becoming your own boss, being a CEO and living the CEO lifestyle. That's who I am and that's what I do.
Thank you, brother E.DeanCole. Thank you so much. And Cynthia G, hey, what's going on? I'm glad to have Cynthia on here. This is a tough environment, you know, but hey, you know, we all Black, you know what I mean? And you know, she's a nice person. I think she's a nice person deep down inside. She really cares. I know she cares about Black people, so that's why she's here. She's not that mean. She's not that mean, y'all. Go ahead, Cynthia. Glad to have you coming on the show. Tell everybody about your channel. Sorry about you getting timed out, but you know, my moderators, they like Crips. Okay, they shoot at everything. So go ahead, shout yourself. Let everybody know what's up with your channel.
Thank you, Oshay. You know, the thing of it is I don't get intimidated by certain environments, not really any environment really. But my channel focuses mostly around, you know, psychologically analyzing white supremacy. I think too often we look at white supremacy on a surface level. We're not thinking on a psychological level. So I try to focus on that. I'm really big on accountability. I think, you know, if people have been watching my channel lately, which they have, and quiet as it's kept, a lot of the people in your chat room who don't like me, I can't get them off of my channel. But lately I've been talking about Black people's role in the maintenance of white supremacy. I think that in order to overcome white supremacy, we're going to have to make changes within our own mentality and our behaviors. And so that's what I've been focusing on. I don't do the bipartisan political group. We didn't vote our way into white supremacy, so I don't believe politics is the way to get out of white supremacy. I am very traditional, so I think that the man's role in being a man is very important, and I think that we're lacking in manhood in the community. So that's what I've been focusing on for the most part. But I'm definitely happy to be here and squash up some of these old arguments.
Let's do this. Let me start off and get it hot right now. I'm gonna give Cynthia a chance to speak. Cynthia, you heard what Super Sly had to say. Some very interesting things did he have to say about this particular topic and situation. I want to give you the opportunity on what you thought he said, how you interpret it, what did you agree or disagree with, and all of that.
Oh, okay, I have myself muted. I definitely don't agree with it. I think it's disingenuous to pretend that Black men are failing to protect the women in their community by and large because of any feminism. Because the reality of it is if you look at all of these viral videos going around, Black men are not protecting themselves, okay? They're not protecting their children. Black men failed to do anything about Trayvon Martin. That was the 12-year-old child that we already know did not say that he took on feminism. That little boy, you're not going to tell me, had any vitriol for Black men, but he was left unprotected. There was a little boy snatched off of a bus by a white supremacist. His father was even nowhere in sight. So the reality of it is when you have a group of men where I'm watching videos and there are white supremacist females talking about they can do things to them, they can kill them and get away with it, this doesn't have anything to do with feminism. I think it's an excuse, and I think that they're simply cowardly and afraid of white men. Because while I heard this man sit up here and talk about what he's at his breaking point of doing to a woman, he certainly did not mention one thing that he planned to do about these white terrorists who are running around willy-nilly murdering black men, women, and children. Then you have people in here with this single mother narrative. In one breath, they're talking about single mothers. But then when you say, where are these fathers? Why are they choosing to walk out on their children? Then they come with this narrative, oh, the CDC said Black men are the most active fathers. I don't believe that Black men are not protecting Black women because of anything other than the fact that by and large, they are cowards. They weren't protecting them on the plantation. They weren't protecting them in Jim Crow, and they're not protecting them now. And my thing of it is when are we going to admit that Black men are just simply scared of white men? When are we going to admit that? Because even this going to white women trope, you can feel free to go to white women knowing that she's protected by the white man. So you're not required to protect white women. It doesn't matter whether she's laying up with you or not. So it's really interesting. I think the entire mentality is flawed. The fact that you even have Black men who think it does something for them to sit up on a social media platform and talk about why they should, if and they would be protecting the women of their community, as if everybody don't see the women as an extension of the men. When you see a group of people who are failing to protect the women, and that is literally only Black men, that tells you something about Black men. It doesn't tell you anything about Black women. It doesn't tell you anything about feminism. It tells you that this group of Black men are conquered and weak. You are an extension of Black women. So if you're not protecting Black women, you're not protecting yourself. And that's why we're seeing that playing out in reality. What are Black men going to do about this white supremacist cop that just shot this Black man in his home? Because it sounds like on any given day, if a white supremacist chose to go up into a Black man's house and murder him and his entire family with impunity, that would happen and Black men would do nothing. I want to see any scenario where you have a Black man snatch any white child off of a bus and the entire white community of males don't raise up and do something to the entire Black community. This is an issue of cowardliness, nothing more, nothing less. Because if you're going to sit here and make excuses, you're just simply making it because you don't want to do anything. As far as him saying that Black women are somehow on the bottom and undesirable, I don't know if you really check the data, but all the data says the exact opposite. And I think that this man specifically is mad because he knows that Black women are not interested in him by and large. Like if I can see the women, again, control your emotions, please.
Super slide.
He can't even clean his own room. So protect us from seeing your dirty
keep it
room,
clean.
first
Hold on. All right, let's just go ahead, Cynthia.
Yeah, but my thing of it is I would like to know if feminism is the reason why Black men aren't protecting themselves or aren't protecting women, what is the reason they're not protecting themselves or their children? I'll end it there. So, and hopefully I can get my question answered, because usually when I'm on here, people just dance around it. They filibuster, they deflect. I would like to get my question answered. Why aren't Black men protecting themselves from mass incarceration, police brutality, systemic racism? Why aren't Black men protecting themselves from that? Why are they allowing white men to have a multi-billion-dollar weed industry while they sit in prison for the same things? Where are you guys? Why aren't you protecting yourselves?
Okay, I'll let you answer that question but before the show is over. So we can get to that. I think it's somewhat related to the topic, although not necessarily. But I mean, I'll do you that favor. Let me just say this, guys. Listen, I'm not trying to be rude to people. I've gotten certain emails from certain people trying to get on the show. Okay, let me tell you who we have on the show tonight. Phil from the Advice Show, Amiri Brown, Okay, let me just read. I'm not trying to shame nobody, but let me just read who we have on the show. Super Sly, 8,500 subscribers. Okay. E.DeanCole, 17,000. Cynthia G, 50,000. Brother Sanchez, 70,000. Nyla just had 10,000. Phil from that Vice show, 3 billion subscribers. Okay. So, and these guys are having, and we have Afro Synergy trying to get on right now with 35,000. So I'm not trying to be rude to anybody, but don't hit me up asking, can you get on the show tonight? Because it's not going to happen. Okay. My boy is LAR Movement, and y'all know me and him is cool. That's my favorite person. He ain't on the show tonight. So, and I know that I don't like none of y'all like I like LAR Movement. It ain't close. So if he ain't asking me, then nigga, I'm just letting, I got like, I'm not being mean though. I'm being cool. I done got about 6 emails since I've been on here. This is not a hangout where you can get 37,000 niggas on here. It's not working. So I told y'all on the Sunday shows, this shit is pre-picked. It's not just like, I'm gonna just let niggas go because you want to come on right now. I'm gonna let you, nigga, that's not how it works, nigga. It don't work like that. You niggas know this shit is hot. So why the fuck is you niggas asking me that shit? I mean, come on. I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but y'all see 1,000 niggas on here already. Then you want to, can you get, nigga, no, you can't get on. And I'm not trying to be mean to nobody, but I'm just letting you know that you see who we got today. And I already done told y'all niggas. So I don't want to hear none of the motherfucking shit about let me get, no, nigga, no. If you say that shit, I'm timing you out. All right, I'm sorry. God bless you, motherfuckers, for real. Because I don't want to have no shit going. Let me let my brother E.Dean, and I'm telling you, if one of you niggas say ask again. Anybody ask again. Chill with the N-word. Get that motherfucking nigga out of here. Hold on, E.Dean. Get his ass out of here. Motherfucker, don't you ever tell me what the fuck to say. This is my goddamn channel, nigga. What the fuck wrong with you? I don't give a fuck. Go ahead, brother E.Dean. I know you don't curse, brother, but go ahead and bless these people.
It's cool. Oh, no,
you know I ain't saved. I ain't saved, nigga. Because I'll tell these niggas real quick. I don't give a fuck. Fuck y'all. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but first of all, I want to clear it up. So it was a joke. I'm not a pastor. I know I look like one. So this is my first introduction to a lot of people. I look like a pastor, but I'm not a pastor. You understand what I'm saying? So, man, I got so much to say. Oh, I got so much to say. I got so much to say. So, oh man, I don't know where to start because I want to address everybody. So with my man Sly, I disagree. I feel like what the young sister was saying, what's her name? Beautiful Irene. What Irene was saying is that yes, men of means, we make sure that our women are taken care of. We make sure that our household is taken care of. Now, I'm speaking from the position of a father. I am a father to a beautiful 10-year-old daughter. She is the air that I breathe. And also in my organization, I have individuals that work for me that are family members of mine. They work for me as well. And so that being said, that the females that work for me as well. So that being said, I don't agree with everything that you said, but I do get what you're saying. Yes, I feel like a lot of times African-American women will step out there and then we have to kind of clean up the mess that they made. I understand that, yes, she could have gotten a car, would have, should have, could have, like what Irene said, you Monday quarterbacking. I do think we do need to hold women accountable. Now, what Cynthia G says is I think that one of the things about it is that women by far and large have always been coddled, especially the African-American woman. I know you might disagree with me, but it has been. So the reason why you see the insurgence of holding Black women or African-American women accountable is because they're not done. That's not done. So that's the reason why you say, it's the narrative is being switched to, oh, well, what does the Black man do? The Black man does so much, and the Black man is responsible for so much that we are told that everything is our fault. So when you see individuals like Sly and you see individuals like Oshay and other individuals that are holding Black women accountable for their actions, it's because that hasn't been done in mainstream America. In mainstream America, we belittle what they do by saying, oh, well, she's pregnant, or she's emotional, or it's her period, or you don't understand her emotions. And so we pacify the Black woman's behavior we justify the Black woman's behavior by being a woman. But that definitely, it has its place. But at the same time, I feel both sides of the fence because, yeah, my daughter is never going to have to work a day in her life because I make sure that she's taken care of. If she chooses to work, she can work. I mean, that's how I'm raised. Now, let me add a little other levity to the situation. So I am African-American, but I'm also half African. So my father is Sierra Leonean, and I have a very strong African presence in my family. I have family that are from the Creole tribe as well as from the Igbo tribe. So I don't know if it's because a lot of the way that I think has a lot to do with what I know manhood and masculinity is, because that's the way I was raised. You understand what I'm saying? Like my mother right now, she doesn't have to work because my stepfather makes sure that she's taken care of. My grandmother was the exact same way. So that being said, that's how I was raised, to be a capital M-A-N. I'm a capital M-A-N. I don't scratch my head unless it itch. I don't dance unless I hear music. So a lot of the stuff that I do hear people saying, I don't agree with it too. Like, I'm not going to allow a black man to say, I got to do this because of a black woman, or I got to do this because a white man. Like, no, you got to get up, go get it, and come back with it yourself. So I feel like I do want to add balance. I want to say I'm so much of a bipartisan on both sides of the fence when it comes to the panel. But make no mistake about it, I do believe that if a man sees a woman in distress, it don't matter if she's black, white, yellow, Puerto Rican, or Haitian, a man is going to help her. It's completely separate from our ethnos. I'm not going to say our race, because we're all the human race, but we all have different ethnicities. So it doesn't matter her ethnicity. Me personally, I remember I was shopping with my daughter, and I saw this police officer. He was an undercover police officer. He was wrestling this woman down to the ground. And I felt torn, because I'm like, okay, my daughter's right here. Now, I didn't know that he was a police officer, but she kept screaming for help. And my daughter was holding on to my arms because she was afraid. So I'm holding my daughter back. And I went up to the dude and I was like, are you a police officer? I'm like, are you a security guard? Is she stealing or whatever? He's like, yeah, she's trying to steal. So then I said, okay, turn around and handle my business, because she needs to be accountable for her actions. So that being said, I do believe that what my man says does have its place, but also I do believe that, like what Irene said, is that I don't know a man, or I don't know if it was Irene or this other beautiful young lady. You do got some beautiful sisters in the building today, including Cynthia G. Have some beautiful sisters in the building today. Nyla, I think Nyla was the one who said that she doesn't know a man that will see a woman in distress and not activate. It don't matter her ethnicity. It doesn't matter if she's pregnant or if she's not pregnant. It doesn't matter what the situation is. So I do think that we need to add some balance, and we can talk some specificity to the situation, because just because she is pregnant doesn't give her the right to go out and pick a fight and then expect a man to be there. But at the same time, I do agree with my man, and he happened to be strapped. He happened to have the gun on him. And so the white guy was like, so who are you threatening? So even when he pulled a Glock out and he held the Glock down, the white man in his mind still felt as if he had the ability to be superior in the situation. And he could have easily shot her in a fit of rage. That woman could have lived the rest of her life happy and free, raising her child. And that man is now in jail for the rest of his life for trying to help a black woman. So I do see both sides of the fence. Am I making any sense? Am I clear about it? Because it's so much that I want to address. I need to get a pen and a piece of paper so I can write some of this stuff down. Y'all talking good tonight.
Well, no, what we'll do is I'm gonna open it up a little bit more. Let me just say this real quick, E.Dean, and I'm gonna come back. Did you have anything else you want to say real quick, E.Dean?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Listen, okay, I'll tell you what. Y'all know I'm a nice person. Y'all know I'm bipolar. Y'all gotta pray for me. Dr. Mooney's supposed to be here tonight. I will do a part 2 tomorrow. Part 2 tomorrow for some of the folks that can't get in tonight. That's what I'll do. Part 2 for y'all, because I know y'all are mad. Okay, so I don't want to be cussing y'all niggas out on a Sunday, because I am Baptist. Backsliding, but you know what I mean? I got a little Hennessy in my thing. So tomorrow I'll do a part 2 for the other people. Big JXX, the other people. I'll do a part 2 tomorrow just for y'all. Okay, part 2 tomorrow. So you don't have to, So I see. There you go. Now you niggas get the likes up on the motherfucking video. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, let's let Cynthia G open up. I'll give you a 45-minute round for the whole panel. Cynthia G, whatever you have to say, and then after that, we'll do try to keep it within 2 minutes so everybody can get a chance to talk. Go ahead, Cynthia. Your time starts right now.
Thank you. I think it's really interesting that you have men in the chat condemning Irene for being with a white man as they sit up here being dominated and subjugated by white men and making excuses why they shouldn't protect the women of their community. Mind you, white men are not doing this. I don't condone swirling. Everybody who watches me know that I don't condone it on either side. But I do think it's really interesting that you have these men sitting up here in one breath saying, oh, well, we can't protect the black women, but, oh, Irene is with a white man. You're still dominated by that white man. You're submitting to that white man that she's with So at the end of the day, you don't have an argument. Now, I wanted to ask E.DeanCole something, because he said that Black women have been coddled. He said Black women have been coddled and their behavior has been pacified. I would love some examples of how Black women have been coddled ever and what behavior the Black women are being pacified. Because the reality of it is Black women are not even allowed to have human emotions. That's just a reality. You have no say. Even the men on, even this dude on this panel sat up here and said, "Who cares if she's pregnant? That means what?" There is no sympathy for what Black women are going through. When Black women exhibit emotion, they're called bitter, they're called angry. But when white women, however, have emotions, it's said that they had a bad day. People are asking, what did they do to her? Some of these same Black men, if that was a white woman in that scenario, they would have so much sympathy for her. They would make excuses for her, yet they're condemning the Black woman, talking about what she should have done and what she did wrong, how she should have gotten the car. That's a problem. He also said, even you also said Black men were doing everything and that they were taking responsibility. What are Black men doing and what are they taking responsibility for? And if Black men are doing everything, why is there even a threat of white men shooting and killing pregnant women? Why is there so many videos running around where white supremacists are terrorizing the community if Black men are doing everything? Because I've asked this question several times on different panels. What are Black men doing? And nobody can name one thing, because the reality of it is Black men are doing absolutely nothing except submitting to white male dominance. This is the reality. We are sitting in a system of white supremacy. Just by virtue of that, Black men are doing something wrong, because regardless to what Black women do, you don't have to allow yourself to be dominated. And I'm not even going to address the dude who said he sees more Black terrorists than white terrorists, and that he doesn't believe that there's the issue of white supremacy. Again, that's just another excuse to be a coward. Because of course, if you don't see white supremacy, then you don't have to deal with white supremacy. There are a number of different Black men who outright deny white supremacy. You're still in a system of white supremacy. Doesn't matter if you see yourself as not a group of people, you're still a group. We need to really get into reality. And I think people are denying reality simply so that they don't have to deal with it. I would like to know for the people, because there's numerous people who have been saying, and I think Mary said it too, and I understand where he's coming from. But if we're saying that 30 years ago, Black women were saying that Black men ain't shit and they're feminists and they don't need a man. I'm 34. So that means during that time, I was 4 years old. Why am I hearing about something that women did who would be in their 60s now? Why am I hearing about that? Most of the women right now who are in their 30s, they were either non-existent 30 years ago or they were very young. So I shouldn't be hearing anything about that. I'm gonna take a guess and say that all of the women on this panel are in their 30s or younger. So why are we hearing about what some women did who are now in their 60s, probably pushing 70s 30 years ago? Because the reality of it is even if Black women were saying that 30 years ago, what were Black men doing in contrary to women saying that they weren't shit? If I just spent years on a plantation, then went through Jim Crow, and I know that 16 years after getting off the plantation,
laid the groundwork for you.
Hold on. Let him talk. Let him talk. ABL, you're always fucking around. Go ahead.
Nah, but she asked a question. I wanted to clear it up for her. What happened a long time ago laid the groundwork for you.
Stop being a nigga. Stop being in the hold. And this motherfucker, stop playing with me. Y'all know I got high blood pressure. Stop the bullshit. You must stop. I'm tired of niggas. And it's your fault, ABL, because you're always fucking around. I can't stand you.
She was talking to me, ABL, so she was addressing me. I have answers.
No, but it's not your fault. It's his fault. He always does this shit every fucking week.
ABL, like
bullshit. I can't stand you, dude. Damn you. Go ahead, Cynthia. I'm sorry.
If I lived through Jim Crow, seeing the amount of Black women who are getting raped and Black men did nothing about it, if I was living in Jim Crow, where I know that 16 years after getting off the plantation, Black men did not fight to get out of Jim Crow. They fought to have access to white women. I'd probably be saying they weren't shit either. However, I'm not going to say that because I know there are some Black men who genuinely do want to do something. However, the vast majority of Black men are doing absolutely nothing. That is just a reality. You're not doing anything about systematic white supremacy. You're not doing anything about mass incarceration. You're not doing anything about police brutality. You're not doing anything about these white women putting false rape allegations on you. You're not doing anything. That's just a reality. There's nothing that Black men take accountability for. They sit up here and talk about Black women being responsible, mind you, for things that are a domino effect of their behavior, while they don't do anything. Black men were not moving perfect during the civil rights movement, and then Black women just woke up one day and decided that they wanted to say Black men weren't shit. What were Black men doing during those days that led to Black women getting feminism, getting welfare, and getting all those things? To every action, there is a reaction. There's a consequence to every behavior. And you have people sitting up here saying Black women do this, Black women do that, Black women said this, but they're not asking why. Did anybody ever try to figure out why those Black women, if they were saying it, were saying that Black men weren't shit? Did anybody listen to what they were saying, the behaviors that they were pointing out? Because there was a high rate of domestic violence. That was the pimp generation, where Black men were pimping their women to white men, where they were pumping drugs into their community. So is anybody asking where these mentalities are coming from? Or are we just saying, oh, Black women? And this is why I say Black women are not even allowed to have emotion, because the fact that you can bring up feminism, the fact that you can bring up and say Black women are not shit, but you don't even look at why, there's no understanding for why Black women have these attitudes. We're sitting up here on a panel, and I'm listening to a lot of to men on this panel and in this chat room make excuses as to why they can't protect people. During that Pisa Milano situation, Black men were in the background cackling and kikiing. White men had to go protect her. Okay, I've been in situations where I've stepped in when I've seen Black men getting harassed and Black children getting harassed. Okay, my sister, my nephew's white dad has seen Black women and helped them. So these are not even people in your community are doing more to help and protect the men than the men who are actually birthed by Black women. This psychological problem that Black men have is an issue. That's just a reality. And it doesn't matter what people say, bringing up the past. How would even, let's
Gotta
say,
wrap it up.
You're not.
Go ahead. You got about 30 more seconds.
You see
this asshole. You see.
I go next.
Hold on, wait. Oh, Edie, let her go ahead. Go ahead and finish with Cynthia G, and then we're gonna go to Irene. I got you next. Don't worry, I got you, Edie. But y'all make it kind of quick because y'all get me nervous. So go ahead.
And
wrap
then
it up in a minute.
We're saying, what about feminism? Who sold out? What was happening before feminism, genius? That's what you need to be asking. Feminism didn't just pop up, and Black women didn't just wake up one morning and say, let me get into feminism. What were Black men doing or not doing that led to feminism? Because what you don't really know is that a lot of these Black women may feel like if they are not going to get protection on the basis of their Blackness, then they might as well align themselves with feminism and get protection on the basis of their womanness. Much like a lot of Black men are doing, who choose to be gay, and then they choose to go over here and align themselves with the gay community and ignore their Blackness and say that I'm a part of the LGBTQ community. So don't act like Black men were not doing every single thing that Black women were doing. It is not okay for a group of men to be systematically oppressed and dominated by another group of men. I want to know why Black men are sitting here talking about they're demanding respect. Are you kidding me? From whom? Because you're not even demanding to stay alive from these white supremacists. Any one of them, any given day, can come kill you and your family. You're doing absolutely nothing. Demand respect from the system of white supremacy first, then maybe you won't have a problem getting it from your women. But my question, again, to E.DeanCole, what are Black men doing? What do they take responsibility for? How are Black women coddled? And how are their feelings being pacified? I would love to know.
E.D., okay, I'll let you respond to that. But okay, all right. So, guys, just try to make the responses shorter. Okay. Go ahead, E.D.
It's okay. So let me go ahead and a couple of things. So first, I want to address my man Super Sly. So Super Sly, if I on the outside looking in, and I have to get a good 45-minute idea of who you are, I would say that you might have some issues with self-loathing just on the outside looking in.
Come on, Super Sly. Okay, you guys can keep it clean. I'll let you respond. Super Sly, go ahead.
This is my response. I think you have some issues when it comes to self-loathing. The reason why is because I look at the intensity and the vitriol that you speak towards these women. It has a lot to do with a little bit of self-loathing. just in my perspective. You dig what I'm saying? Now, you mentioned something. You said that a man will never protect a liberated woman. I think that that is not accurate. I feel that a man is always going to protect a woman, period, whether she is liberated or not, whether, like Sinful the Peace say, whether she in pocket or she out of bounds. Either way it go, I'm still a capital M-A-N, 10 toes down. She's always going to be a woman. She's always the weaker vessel. Whether they want to admit it or not, they are. So when a man is in the presence, I'm not talking about a male. I'm not talking about a boy. I'm not talking about somebody that has men genitalia. But when an actual man is in the presence, a woman around him is always going to be protected, whether she wants to or not. So that's the second thing. Third thing is beloved Cynthia G. Come here, beloved. So you asked a couple of questions. Now, I am, like I said, I am a CEO in real life. I don't do this for play. I do this for pay. So you asked some questions and I'm going to give you some answers. So the first thing you asked me, beloved, was give me examples of women being coddled. Cynthia G, can you please tell me what are the top leading magazines that are there to coddle the Black woman? Please help me to understand. What are the top 10 magazines that will actually condone the woman's behavior? Now, there's a term, and I know you can't really respond right now. So if we want to do a one-on-one, I am 100% down with that. So I know there's a thing that a lot of people try to say that you are, and I don't actually see that. I feel that you are misunderstood. But there is an actual syndrome now that's called the angry Black woman. That is a syndrome. Now, let me explain what that means. Because that is a syndrome, that means that that is the diagnosis, meaning that there's nothing that can be done about that. Now, I am a very much so alpha male. You dig what I'm saying? So in relationships, women say they want a strong Black man until a strong Black man shows up. A lot of times they don't know what to do. They say they want to submit, but then they have issues submitting because they're not used to it. So I deal with a strong Black woman a lot of times. Now, now listen, now you're talking to a man that has a video that says that I would never date a white woman as a successful Black man. The only thing a white woman can do for me is point me into her single Black friend. So I'm not somebody that subscribes to the idea of dating outside of my culture, outside of my race, outside of my ethno, excuse me, not outside of my race. So that being said, I'm speaking to you from the same standpoint that you have, that I fight this. Now, I understand that you, in the bubble that you have, that in your group of friends, in your group of women, that you guys might not see it, but for a man on the outside looking in that tends to date quite a bit, that is in the public eye, that gets a lot of attention, I deal with that strong Black woman syndrome, okay? So that is, now let me go back to that syndrome. Syndrome means that this is what it is. Because of the coddling of Black women, if you look at any Caucasian or any Asian comedian, when they try to mimic a Black woman, what do they mimic? They mimic the condoned behavior, which is being irritable, which is being violent, which is being volatile. I'm not saying that that is accurate, but that has been a syndrome that has been designed because they're saying that that's the answer. So when you're asking me questions about how is it, can I give examples? Let me give you some more examples, beloved. Another example is that we often say that, oh, it's just because of her hormones, it's that time of the month, or it's menopause. And what we do is we condone negative behavior. We condone foolish behavior. We champion women for foolish behavior. And so they call it keeping it real. And so in the African-American community, the African-American woman has been expected to operate with such childlike behavior. So whether we agree on it or not, we're talking about facts. You know what I'm saying? Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. You ask for facts, I'm giving you specificity, beloved. Let's go a little bit further.
Hold on, wait. Let him finish. I got white neighbors.
Now, let me go a little bit further, beloved. You asked me, you said, what are Black men doing? Now, I know that this is the thing. See, the thing that I love so much about you, Cynthia, is that you're unapologetic. I love how beautiful you are. I love when you do your makeup. I love when you do your hair. See, I'm a king. A king knows that a woman's supposed to adorn herself. I don't have issues with that. I love when you do that. But one of the things that I do not like is that you never say some. What you say is all. So let me help you, beloved. You ask for facts. Let me give you facts. Okay. Now, because you are not in the business realm, you might not pay attention to the statistics. However, 60% of the entrepreneurs that have come from 2000 since the beginning of 2018, they are African-American men. So when you ask what men are doing to fight white supremacy, the only answer to white supremacy is going to be entrepreneurship for the man. That is the only That is the only answer. The only way that you're going to overcome white supremacy is by becoming your own man, becoming your own boss, becoming your own CEO. So like I said, 60% of the insurgence of the African-American entrepreneur is the African-American man, beginning in 2018. Now, because you're not in the business world, you don't see that statistic. So that's okay. That's fine. And you don't know. It's okay. The #1 best-selling book of all time says, how can they hear without a speaker, and how can they speak except to be sent? Well, beloved, I've been sent to help you understand some things tonight. Let's go another further. You ask, what are men doing in the African-American community? I don't know, beloved, have you ever heard of a gentleman called Representative John Lewis? I don't know if you've ever heard of that gentleman before. Or have you heard of the gentleman Sanford D. Bishop? I don't know if you've heard of him. Or maybe you've ever heard of James Clyburn. You ever heard of that gentleman before? Or maybe you've heard of Alcee Hastings. We're talking about facts. We're not talking about fiction, and we're not talking about feelings. We're talking about facts. You ask me, what is the African-American man doing for our society? Let me go another further. So I'm introducing you to some things you've never met before. All right, beloved, have you ever heard of Bobby L. Rush? I don't know. I know you don't have time to respond, but I'm gonna allow you to. Have you ever heard of Bobby Scott, or maybe Benny Thompson, or maybe Elijah Cummings, or maybe Danny K. Davis, or maybe Gregory Meeks? See, these are individuals that are part of the same organization that the Honorable President Barack Obama comes from, which is the National Black, the Black Caucus. This is the Black Caucus. These are individuals that are in the African-American community that are working for the African-American, and these are the men that lead the Black Caucus. So when you say Black men are not operating and working for the Black woman, that's disingenuous, and that's very much so. That's very much so part of your world. But there are some privileges that you have, that you experience, that you do not know, that comes from the backs of the Black man. So when you say that Black men don't do that, that is something that kind of rubs me the wrong way, because there are so many sacrifices that, like for instance, I'm going to be singular in my world. There's so many sacrifices that I take that my daughter thinks is just normal to her. I took my family on a cruise for Christmas. Not for Christmas, for summer. She spent $350 because she's like, oh, well, I just swiped the little card. My daddy says free. Because she doesn't understand. Now, granted, that is the position that I have for her, but that same mindset and mentality is what every Black man has, whether it be their own child or whether it be another woman. But now I talk about a Black man. I'm not talking about a Black male. I'm not talking about a Black boy. I'm not talking about a Black person that has male genitalia. We're talking about the Black man. And you're in the presence of a Black man. So those are the things that, so when you ask specificities, I can give you specificities. You cannot discredit the fact that the president of the United States, which is the best president of the entire decades, have been President Barack Obama. And he climbed the heights of being the best president of the United States of America. Now, I know that people try to overshadow that by the foolishness of this celebrity in chief that we have right now, but don't discredit this Black man for what he has done.
What did he do?
Hold on. Let me. Wait. Niggas, too many niggas. It's too many niggas. I rebuke niggas. Niggas. No, nigga, no. Too many niggas. E.Dean, 30 seconds, man. Wrap it up, because there's too many niggas. I'm getting tired.
One of my favorite. Now, even though I'm not a pastor, I'm a devout Christian. I believe Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. We can do a one-on-one on that. At the same time, you cannot discredit what the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has done for the African-American diaspora. How on earth can you discredit this man for doing the Million Man March multiple times? This is, now don't roll your eyes and stump your feet, because this Black boy you sure can't beat. I see you. Don't roll your eyes and stump your feet, Cynthia. It does not take away the fact, when you ask what are Black men doing, I can give you several examples of what Black men are doing. And that's what I'm trying to do, Cynthia. Now, we can continue to do this. As you can see,
no, don't do it. No, we got no, please.
So that's it. So we can, I know it's heated. I hate that Oshay is giving us a time limit, but hey,
I got to.
That's what I got to say.
Okay, good. All right, let's start with E.D.
All right, 2 minutes each. Okay, 2 minutes each. So I'm gonna need
I'll even, because you have that vest on. I give you 2 minutes and 30 seconds, player. Hold on,
okay,
let me
30 seconds.
Okay. Today. Don't worry about nothing, because you know you might play, cousin.
I know, right? I got you, man.
I got you. Right, hold on. Boom, got him.
All right, so we're talking about specifics, okay? Now, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. We're talking about actual factual specifics. Now, you guys ask, what has Barack Obama done for the African-American diaspora? Now, we're not even going to talk about African-American diaspora. We're going to talk about the African-American community, because Phil from the Advice Show was talking about things that happen in Africa that don't affect us. I feel like us as African-Americans, we are agnostic to things, meaning that we know that it's there, but we don't understand how it really works. Now, all of you guys on the panel, have you ever heard of a program called My Brother's Keeper? Like, yes. Oshay, have you heard of My Brother's Keeper?
I have.
Okay, My Brother's Keeper is a program that President Barack Obama started that has put over $200 million into the hands of African-American young men. $200 million.
But let them talk. Let them talk. Go ahead.
I got my time. That is actual and factual. Have you? All right, Oshay, have you heard of a program called the Ready to Work program? Have you heard of that, Oshay?
I've heard of that, yes.
All right, that is another program that he has put $170 million into the hands of entrepreneurs, specifically the Black-owned entrepreneur, to hire and give out work programs. And if you're not in the finance world, you don't know this. So when you're asking me, you got to remember, I'm a finance guy. So I know these specifics. Under President Barack Obama took the unemployment rate down from 16.8% down to 8.3%. Okay, I'm not telling you something I heard. I'm telling you something that I know. Facts. So whether you like him or not, whether you like his wife or not, we're still talking about facts. Let's go another further. How many of you guys are homeowners that are on this panel? If you're a homeowner, I want you to say, oh, you're a homeowner.
I'm not. I got white neighbors on.
I am.
Several
homes. Irene is a homeowner, and Naya, you say you're several homeowners. Okay, awesome. Have you heard of the HAMP program or the HARP program? The Home Affordable Refinance Program, or the Home Affordable Modification
that is
program.
true. My mom got into that because of Barack.
Okay,
that is absolutely true.
We're talking about Oshay Jackson. Because
that is true. My mother
Barack Obama gave tax shelters to these large major corporations. They made them modify and refinance homes because of President Barack Obama, not because of anything else, but because of President Barack Obama. He made sure that 183 million homeowners kept their home. So when you say, what does he do for Black people? This is the reason why. How many now you said several home.
You had trouble though.
Let me finish, Nyla. I got more time. Nyla, you said several homes. How many of you guys have ever had an FHA mortgage? You know what the Federal Housing Administration is? The Federal Housing Administration is a program that's designed for underprivileged individuals, that's designed for the African-American community. President Barack Obama specifically reduced the mortgage premium by $900 for every single person. Let's go on. There's so much things that people are talking about. Now, specifically, the Pell Grant program. Under President Obama, he increased the Pell Grant program by 70%. These are facts. I don't care whether you like what he did. Listen, if I'm a father and I say to my daughter, baby, you can come and you can sleep in this bed, but if she's arrogant and egotistical and says, I don't want to, it's not my fault as the father. It's that child's fault for not getting in line. President Barack Obama reduced the fees for the SBA micro program. He has been the only president to do that, because the African-American most of the time, the African-American qualifies for the SBA micro programs. What he did is, for lenders like us, he reduced our fees so that we can lend more. So I'm not telling you something that I heard, I'm telling you something that I know. So when you're asking me these questions, and I'll stand 10 toes down. Two more things and I gotta go.
Okay, real quick.
Farrakhan, you guys talk about Farrakhan. Regardless if Farrakhan got 15 kids, regardless if Farrakhan is old and fat, Farrakhan and the NOI, the Nation of Islam, the NOI, they reduced the rate of recidivism by 20% in the United States of America. Whether you like it or not, he is effective. So when you ask these questions, you talking to an individual that's talking about facts. I don't care if you like things about the person or you don't. You ask me for tangible things, ABL. You ask me for tangible things, the advice. So you ask me for tangible things, Cynthia. I can give you tangible things. And if you give me more time, I want to come on every last one of you guys' shows. We can talk about it and we can go into detail on every single thing. One last thing, ABL, you say something is disingenuous. You say that white supremacy is not real. That's inaccurate. White supremacy is not what
ABL hold on, real quick. ABL, don't you start it. Come on now.
Right. So listen, white supremacy is real, but it's irrelevant. So the problem that you're missing people on, ABL, is that we know that white supremacy is real, but it's irrelevant. White supremacy is the lion that's roaring outside our tents, but doesn't have any teeth. So we hear the roar, we see that it's there, but it's ineffective. So when you say that it's not there, that's what people fight. People maximize on the minor things. And that's the reason why you miss people, ABL. So we know you're inaccurate. White supremacy is real.
Okay. No. We got to go to the next person because the timer's already off.
Okay, my bad. That's it.
You did a good job. And to be honest with you, my mom does participate. That financing that my mom did benefit from that. I don't like Obama, but that's true. That's the truth.
That's facts. Whether you like it or not, you cannot deny the facts.
That is definitely true. Okay, let's go to the next person, Cynthia. And then Cynthia, and then Super Sly. Go ahead, and then we go to the next topic.
Okay, so it's interesting that he mentioned all of these things that Obama supposedly did. Not one of them were exclusively for Black people. Not even the home ownership, because they just released a report in 2017.
Hold on, no, Dean, let her talk.
My brother's keeper.
The Huffington
Let
Post
her talk.
just did something in 2017 that said Black home ownership is at a 20. It is at a 20 lowest, the lowest in 20 years. 20 years, it is the lowest it's ever been. The same report said that the black wealth, more than half of the Black families have a net worth of $1,700. And if this is a finance person, he should know this. There was also a report that just came out and said there's no Black wealth, despite the amount of Black celebrities, NFL players, and entertainers. Why is it that a finance guy does not know this? Unemployment being low, unemployment is at an all-time high, actually, because you're not accounting in joblessness. Black men are the most unemployed, okay? Then he's sitting here saying that this wealth is what's going to create, get rid of the system of white supremacy. But you also said that 60% of the new entrepreneurs are Black men. So why isn't this ending white supremacy then? There have been Black Wall Street. There has been Rosewood. There have been tons of successful Black communities that did not stop. It didn't stop white supremacy at all. Also, he said that there is a syndrome called angry Black woman. Well, I know that you study finance, not psychology, which I do. There is no psychological term called the angry Black woman syndrome. That is a white supremacist term that a lot of Black people have taken on. How can you in one breath say that Black women are coddled, but then sit here and talk about the angry Black woman syndrome? There also isn't any magazines that exist that condone Black women's behavior. Talking about PMS and everything is blanketed over all women, not Black women. I asked you, what specifically are Black men doing? And you mentioned money. You mentioned a lot of those politicians, but didn't mention one piece of legislation that they put into place that did something for Black women. What policies were created specifically to benefit Black people? Obama did something specifically for Jews. He did something specifically for LGBTQ. Everything that you just mentioned blanketed everyone. My brother's keeper wasn't just for Black people. Pell Grant isn't just for Black people. Home ownership, they didn't do it just for Black people. Ready to work wasn't just for Black people. None of those were exclusive to Black people. We are asking, what did Obama do specifically to change the condition of the Black community? That's that. Now, we are sympathetic to Black men's plight. However, Black women are not causing Black men's plight. The system of white supremacy is causing Black men's plight. It doesn't matter how much sympathy we have. It doesn't matter how much understanding or empathy we have for Black men. What are Black men doing to change their own plight? That is what I want to know. The question has not been answered by E.DeanCole. I asked you repeatedly, what are Black men doing? You said they're building wealth, but a report just came out and actually said that Black men are on the bottom of the barrel economically, despite all of these wealthy Black men, to the degree that they are not viable mates for any woman. In fact, there was another report that said Black women's loyalty to Black men is holding Black women back because of their systemic oppression and their position in society. So again, I will ask, what are Black men doing to change their own plight? What are they doing? Because we're not mass incarcerating you. We're not shooting you down. We're not doing anything. We're not locking you out of the workforce. We're not systematically oppressing you. I have a ton of sympathy for Black men. I love Black men. Without Black men, I wouldn't exist. Doesn't matter what my dad did or did not do. It does not invalidate the reality of the situation here. Again, so I can sit up here and say I'm sympathetic. I love Black men. I don't want to see Black men oppressed. I don't. But what are Black men doing about their own circumstance? This is what nobody seems to answer. Money isn't going to get you out of it. We've done that. You've had too many successful communities. They got bombed. Black people got raped and murdered. What are Black men doing? That is the question that nobody can answer. And I just want to get the question answered. What are Black men doing to change systemic oppression? Period. And if there is no white supremacy, then why are you in a position that you're in, Black men? Because you're either denying it's like this can't continue to go on. Like this literally can't continue to go on, where we sit here and tell people that they're not sympathetic to Black men. Why wouldn't we be sympathetic? What happens to Black men affects us as a Black woman. But again, I want to know, if Black men are so sympathetic to their own plight, why are they not doing anything for it? Again, where is even a change.org for Black men to deal with these false rape allegations? Where are they? Why do you have wealthy celebrities getting nigger written on their thing if their money is stopping them? Why do you have Black celebrities being targeted? What Bill Cosby was wealthy. Where did that wealth insulate him? Like this is delusional at this point. Like it's really delusional at this point. But I expect nothing less from someone who worships Obama and a white Jesus, because you cannot be a Christian and not be a white supremacist. I don't care how much you try to change him in your mind to Blackness. If you worship a white Jesus, you worship white men, and that's probably why you're not doing anything. What are Black men doing about their own circumstance? That's what I want to get. That's what I'm trying to get answered.
I'll answer that. And y'all don't go to the websites. I'll take it on the chin. We talk about that quite regularly over here. Let's go to E.DeanCole. E.DeanCole, you've heard the question. I gotta get my energy up.
Coffee, my man. I know it's super late.
Hey, you see how hard it is dealing with these people, man.
Listen, bro. Listen. You trying to? It's like holding back wind. You can't hold back water when it want to go. Especially all the intellectuals. Now I know this is gonna be my last time speaking. I want to say this.
No, man, you can come back whenever you get ready.
Okay, I respect.
You check your Facebook, bro. I gave you.
Yeah, I respect in every last one of these individuals. Everybody, I respect the women for their beauty, and I also respect the women for their brains. I respect the fellas for their swag, and I also respect the fellas for their intellectual ability to retort with me. So I want to make sure I say that, because this is my first time being on this panel with all of you guys, and I appreciate it. I would love to do specific one-on-ones with all of you guys, because I hate getting interrupted. So to answer the question, I say this. Men as a whole, unfortunately, Cynthia is right. Men as a whole, the state of the African-American man right now today is weak. Now let's talk about the reasons why it's weak. You know, we cannot cure something until we get to the root of the disease. Now, the reason why the African-American man as a whole is weak right now is because of the boogeyman that ABL talks about, which is white supremacy. Like I said, whether you want to acknowledge the relevance of it or not, that it is still there. When you say something is not there, but that it is really there, then now you have a very large, I think, now we talked about people earlier. I think that ABL, brother, with all due respect, you have a Stockholm syndrome extensively, my brother.
Define white supremacy, then we talk.
Yeah, we're talking about that. Now, because of that, now, and I'm talking about from now, I'm going to be singular in my description of why I think so. I'm 6'4". I'm a big old joker. I'm 260 pounds. I'm a big nigga. And I've been in corporate America ever since I was 18 years old. Now I'm a 35-year-old entrepreneur, owns my own business. And the reason why I got squeezed out of corporate America is because I was told, you're too loud. You're too boisterous. You need to calm down. You need to not be so intimidating. Like, why is it my fault that when I walk, the ground shakes? So now this white woman is clenching her purse in the elevator with me. And so, unfortunately, society is trying to tell us and teach us that is what it needs. That's what you need to do as an African American man.
Is that a race thing or because of your size?
Say that again. No?
ABL, no.
It's not necessarily because of my size. It's also, I do it with a lot of people in my family because I come from that boisterous, loud type of proud African Igbo background. So a lot of other individuals might not be as tall as me. They also go through it as well. But no, so like ABL, let's do a one-on-one so we can talk about it uninterrupted and we can talk about it intelligently as well. So nevertheless, like I said, so that being said, so as a whole, Cynthia is right, yes. But now, what are we doing to fix it? Cynthia, whether you like it or not, a fact is a fact. Cynthia, right now, the fact is I'm in New Orleans. The fact is right now, Oshay is in Poland. You cannot discredit that fact, regardless of what you think. The My Brother's Keeper program was specifically for the African-American boy. You might not know about that because your issues is the African-American woman, but when you're talking about the African-American man, the African-American man specifically had $200 million set aside under President Obama. Whether you like it or not, that's a fact. So we have individuals like President Obama. Now, I don't worship President Obama. I'm just not gonna let you discredit him. You dig what I'm saying? I think that he's the best president because I am a business banker. So I made more money. A lot of people might not have made as much money because their job didn't revolve around the things that President Obama put into effect, where mine has. So I'm just talking about it from my perspective. Now, I don't worship a white Jesus because Jesus is not white. It's impossible to do that. Now, to go another further, to answer a little bit more, is the fact that we as a collective need to come together. Phil from the Advice Show was right. We are not coming together. However, individually, we are doing a lot of things like My Brother's Keeper, like LeBron James with his school, like Dr. Umar Johnson trying to get his school, like Diddy with his school. There's a lot of different individuals that are trying to. So as a whole, no, we are weak. But how do we start to repair it? I know without a shadow of a doubt, without any equivocations, the only way that you're going to be able to start to grow and to overcome is through entrepreneurship. I don't care what nobody says. I know without a shadow of a doubt that is the seed that's going to grow into us being completely unbothered by white supremacy, which is real, ABL.
Okay. Thanks everybody for coming on. It was a good show, great show. I'm just so honored to be with all of you talented YouTubers. A lot of y'all have bigger channels than me, more popular than me. Cynthia has a bigger channel than me. Brother Sanchez has a bigger channel than me. Phil need to stop playing and let me borrow some subscribers. ABL has too. But you guys come over here every day. Y'all can really kill it like y'all want to. And some of you guys have finance channels like E.Dean, so he doesn't really specialize in talking about things like this all the time. But you can come over here and talk about it. So thank you guys. Thank all the people. It ended up pretty good. So again, we'll be on the part 2 tomorrow. If you want to be on the part 2 tomorrow, it's going to be just as cracking as it is today. Just let me know. Part 2 tomorrow, same time, same place. And I'm out. Peace.
Black Jesus.